A very warm welcome to the 38th edition of Dogfest München. Very warm welcome to our viewers and also to our listeners of our new podcast, Dogfest 2023, our second dual edition, 130 films coming from 55 countries. And I'm very happy that we present in our program also the film Iron Butterflies by Roman Liubyi. It's a production from Ukraine and Germany from 2023. It runs in our section Power of Media, ? And I'm very happy to welcome for a Q&A to the director of the film, Roman Liubyi. Very warm welcome.
My pleasure.
Roman, for all of us who haven't seen the film before the screening or before our talk now, we have to make a brief summary. In your film, you basically lead us back to the year 2014, the year of the Russian invasion on the Crimea island, also the year when the Malaysian passenger plane MH17 was shot over the eastern Ukraine. Roman, as we all know, things developed on large scale. Since then, Ukraine is now in the middle of a full-scale war. Why did you decide to go back to the year 2014 for your film?
We started this project in 2019. It was important for us. Like for me personally, it was important to use a pretty unique experience I get from two shirts made only with materials from criminal cases. And MH17 was like a bigger case and bigger film. It was important because we also know that it's the most international case from most international war crime from whole Russian-Ukrainian war, and it was pretty much obvious we will talk about the what Russian propaganda create the myths around this event. Well, yeah, it was also this film was a warning. All this time before full-scale invasion, it was a warning that something will definitely happen because there is no consequences for the murderers after this mass murder. So that was the reasons. And yeah, there was a few films about MH17 already exist before we started the project, but there was something missing in those films. It was mostly more like journalist style, TV style documentaries, and also there was no, I would say, Ukrainian point of view on this tragedy that happens in our home. So
yeah, this is you're mentioning already something that's for me the incredible power of your film. Your film was had the world premiere at the Sundance Festival in January, and we saw the film, and we recognized that it has an incredible power, the contrastic structure. That on the one hand you really look at the fact-based things and make a like kind of a research around this the shot down of the plane, but on the other side you also the film has a very powerful poetic side where you explore like topics like grief or guilt. Could you explain or tell us a bit about this poetic side of your film?
I believe that it's something very much about how Ukrainians telling stories. So we have whole movement of so-called Ukrainian poetical cinema, And yeah, I believe like we are following this idea, this let's say tradition, maybe even unconsciously. Yeah, and it was just organically for me to tell this story in this way. I don't have I have no idea how to tell it in different way.
Okay, so I will ask a more specific question. Maybe let's go to the title. It's Iron Butterflies, and it's also already a very powerful image. It has the tenderness of a butterfly. It has also the destructive power of iron
Yeah.
and a rocket. What's about the title? Could you tell us about the title?
Yeah, you almost already said everything about the title. So we was looking for it was working title for the project, but we keep it. It's yeah, it's a weapon. It's actually the shortest description. What exactly kill all these people is shrapnel from book missile in the form of butterfly in the shape of butterfly, and in another hand it's so it's dark and aggressive, and in the same way it's poetic and have this air. Um,
Yes.
oh yeah.
So you decide for, let's say, this poetic part of the film, black and white, and also you blur faces of actors. How is your take of reality, let's say, in this part of the film?
Sorry again.
How is your take of reality? You work with actors, you work with very, like, let's say, yeah, fictional
uh,
scenes. How is your take of reality?
I'm using this comparison to explain how it works for me. So, if to compare this film with a non-fiction book, then documentary part is like excerpts from newspapers, magazines, like personal pictures, photos, and fiction part is like black and white illustrations between the chapters of the book. It's giving for us, for audience, I believe, giving this like filling the gaps in a storyline. First of all, it's giving this personal level of perception, and yeah, like make it much more rich. Um, and yeah, it's for me just a very useful tool. It's I don't have to look for the words. I already know what to say with movement, with gesture, with body language. So I'm already I have many things to say, right, about this tragedy, and for me it's very it's easy to tell it with movement.
Another layer of your film is obviously the very clean layer where you show the court of justice in Den Haag. We follow the search for truth, also the jurisdiction in absence of the guilty. What is the point for you in a verdict against guilty that aren't present?
I think it's I believe it will be a kind of point of crystallization for a whole big trial against whole Russian war crimes. Well, this is the like the point of the trial. But for now, it's seems a little bit ridiculous. Like some ridiculous amount of money, like a penalty, and imaginary life sentence. So it's actually changed. For now, I think it's changed almost nothing, because for Russians, I guess they making fun of it. They like it means nothing for them. So yeah, for now.
Do you connect hope with the Court of Justice in Den Haag?
Well, yeah, sure. As I said, it can be a very important beginning of the huge trial. Sure, it's changing. The trial changed a lot of in international relations between Ukraine and Netherlands. I can feel it. Like people talk with us, with our crew, even with there is difference. Because for Netherlands, it's almost like a religion, the judiciary, their judiciary, and it means a lot for them. So yeah, I hope I have a lot of hope that someday this sentence become like something real. And also, yeah, it's obvious that it's not just 3 people guilty, right? It's the whole chain of from the top of Russian politics down to the military. So it's just the beginning, and like mostly the people I met in Hague. We had screenings there on so mostly for people next of kin, they believe it's just the beginning.
So your film runs in our focus section, Power of Media, ? That leads me to the question also to you. How is your situation in Ukraine at the moment as, let's say, media maker in some way? Do you feel you can work as you wish? And could you explain about your current situation as a media maker?
Well, I still like we have total freedom of speech. Another question is it really changing something? Because like yesterday, our friend was killed in action, and it's happening all the time. Like you can protect your friends and your family with films, even with the greatest films. So sometimes it really becomes questionable. Is it changing something? But yeah. So I'm all the time looking for the proofs that we changing the situation somehow with our media. Yeah.
And with your film Iron Butterflies, you showed the film in many festivals worldwide now. You showed it successfully. So also on this, congratulations from our side. How was the film received with Ukrainian audience?
It will be just premiered in Ukraine in a month. Less than months, and on DOK.fest festival, and then in 2 months we will have theater run. Yeah, so we're waiting for for reactions. from Ukrainian audience. But I believe it will be, well, yeah, I don't have any expectations actually.
Why not?
Well, I think we all will be surprised with reaction because it's untypical film in general, not typical, and for Ukrainian audience is even more untypical.
But you said before you are like connecting with a poetic
Yeah.
Ukrainian language.
Yeah, it's
So,
true, but mostly people in Ukrainian theaters, people like regular people, mostly watching like Hollywood films. It's just started. It's the like Ukrainian produced films just start the just start to develop actually, and. The traditions I was telling before, the Ukrainian poetical cinema is it's something well known mostly for people of art. When I'm talking about like the reactions of Ukrainian audience, like I'm interested in the reaction of like regular people, just like I don't know my neighbors. So this is because it's how my colleagues will react on this film. It's not so like interesting for me. More or less, I understand the reaction.
so when the film will have a Ukrainian audience, do you think that the shutdown of the passenger plane is a topic at the moment where so much different things or the
Uh,
war is happening? So what can mentioning the something that happened like 8 years or 9 years ago can have an
it's
impact?
totally
Yeah.
makes sense. I believe that most of Ukrainians clearly remember that day. Everyone, I guess, everyone knows what is MH17, and I think there's some kind of trauma still like in each of us. So I believe that this film can like work with this trauma somehow. And there is also pure like a clear connection between situation we have now, the full-scale invasion, and another stage like of Russian aggression against us, and the very beginning of the war. I think it's totally makes sense for like modern Ukrainian audience.
Roman, are you working in different projects at the moment as well? You mentioned you are right now in the kind of editing headquarter. What are you working? What are you cooking at the moment? What else topics?
I'm working now with my colleague. She making a film about three veterans for 8 years. She following their returning back home from war, and how they like find themselves through all these 8 years. And now when they just find themselves back, new war started. So this is the one thing I'm working as an editor, helping her, Yulia Gontaruk, she's named. And also in the background, I'm working on a cartoon for kids. It's not connected with war anyhow. It's based on Ukrainian folklore. It's called Unholy Power. I just feel that it's vital for for Ukraine now to have animation films for kids. And yeah, a few other projects like frontline stories, let's say, mostly for free online access on a YouTube page of our collective Babylon 13.
Thank you so much, and good luck to all the projects you are working in. And we really hope that the time when you don't have to make films about war anymore will come soon. So, all the best to you, to Kiev, and to our audience and listeners. You have the possibility to see Iron Butterfly by Roman Liubyi until the 21st of May on our website, and also one more time at the festival on May 13th in the Film School Munich. Roman, thank you so much for joining us digitally, and all the best.
Thank you so much.